crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women.
The penetrator. Come on, look, because I always went the farthest into the target, goddammit. Libya, Tunisia, Lebanon, it was me, pal. I was always first in, last out.
This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open.
Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Good morning, Valhalla! I know everybody probably thought I was muted. I'm trying to save what voice I've got at the moment because the stuff they've got me on has got me last night sucked. Night before that sucked. So I'm doing my very best to try and hang in there and keep the voice for when I'm live. So the screaming, I did the good morning thing this morning, but it's funny. Last night I was sitting there at the computer and I had this like idea I was gonna do this thing, and I'd made it rhyme. It was like YouTube talk a day late, why all the hate, and I was like, oh, it'd be funny. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what, I want to do something else. I'm gonna leave the topic open. I'll leave it open till tomorrow morning, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do after I wake up. And about midnight last night, this happened. It was like midnight for me. I think it was like 12.
To be fair, backstage, Loki was asking me, hey, if I could be able to shout everybody out, and I was like, really, man? Yeah, I just got my black ass up. He set me up here at 6 a.m. Just be like, good morning, Chris Purser, Keely Chow, down in Metal Trees. You expect me to do that? I take an outlaw.
A day outlaw, the mad doctor.
You know how I sound right now? Exactly.
So I wasn't muted. It was just This happened last night. I don't know if y'all can see that. I hope y'all can see it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So Mahogany was kind enough to be like, yeah, if you want to play it, play it. But I want to play this because, bro, in the middle of this celebration,
you probably want to get to the boat where everybody was saying, Mahogany, check, hit refresh, and then I just get up and just got out of my seat. I just lost it.
let's see.
Yeah, it was like right here. I was like, oh my God.
He's got his hand over his mouth. He's like, oh my God.
Like, you can't play. Yeah. Tonight, please. Not tonight, please. Not tonight, please. Oh, not tonight.
Not tonight.
That's genuine emotion too.
Dude, that is just
when I sound like when my pitch is high as squeaker, that's genuine emotion, you can tell.
And then you went and did this. He did it on a live stream.
I was smart though. I immediately had to cut the voice off the moment I heard the voicemail. I was like, I am not gonna have this voice filled up.
You have reached, yeah.
I was about to like, stop. Hang on.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
He's like, okay, yeah. There you go.
I was hoping you pick up. I'll be like,
it was almost 1:00 here, and luckily
I know.
Eventually get to sleep.
Hey Loki, this is Mahogany. I know it's late to call you right now, but I just wanted to tell you that we did it. Six made one last push. Yeah, Six to get me over. One last push, and I'm live right now. I'm live right now, watching the count. So, but yeah, I just want to let you know we did it, man. We fucking did it. So I'll check it out the show tomorrow morning. So anyway, take care, brother, and have a great rest of your night. We did it, man. Thank you, brother. Skull. Absolute skull, brother. Later.
Bro, we have talked about this. I don't know how many times, and you were like, Loki, I'm never gonna get over this, or I'm never gonna get this, or this is never gonna happen. And we talked, and that theme to that talk has always been, look, it's not a sprint. And for the people it is a sprint. They usually get really twisted up and turned around. And one of the reasons why, you should work towards this is that it's so much sweeter and you're so much more appreciative. And you are one of the most appreciative people I've ever met in my life. I mean, you appreciate everything everybody does for you. And Six nailed it last night. She absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. Okay. To be fair, yes, you were right. You were absolutely right. It was just, I guess in my mind was that it was a 2-year marathon. It was a 2-year marathon to even just crack 1,000. And I suspected I was going to be at least a year and a half before I could even see 2,000 subscribers in my sites. A lot of it was just because after clearing that first 1,000, I was stuck in the 1,300s for a long time. We kept putting I still kept putting the content out, kept putting everything out, still kept consistency and everything. It was just, we were just stuck at that point. And then, like I said, what happened was, and I do think that Maria has to have some involvement in this because, a couple months ago, she just came on to Super Chat. She said, she was saying, she hit like 5K and now she's already at 8K now. She hit like 5K, and she super chatted and said, "I'm gonna get you to 1,500. I'm gonna whore you out. I'm gonna whore you out to get you to 2,000." And I guess what happened was that there was a lot of support to get me past that 1,300. And then I think what happened was that the moment I crossed into 1,400 subscribers, it was like a runaway train.
Yeah.
The moment I hit 1,400, it was like it was gone. I did not expect that. It just kept climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. I was like, I'm just at a loss of words here, because a couple of days ago, I'm seriously, literally on Sunday, I just celebrated 1,800 subscribers, and now 200, and I gained 200 in like a couple of days.
Yeah. You earned it, dude.
I am so worried. I am so worried.
No.
Just hear me out. I am so worried that it was some kind of bot network or something going on that's giving me this push.
No, I don't think so.
But no, I think it was legitimately people really making that huge push. And I think also what happened is that something must have happened in the algorithm or something to get me to hit this growth so quickly. And I think I was being put in I think YouTube might have put me in the recommended channels or something. So I don't know, but I'm just you can tell my voice. I'm just happy. I'm just happy.
June Wong knows what's up, because he sent in a $5 Australian super chat, and he said, "I hear Makani is supposed to wear twin pigtails with bright pink scrunchies and dance with Britney Spears now. Congratulations, Makani." Thank you, June Wong. Thank you, bro.
No.
No. Yeah, I love that.
Oh, thank you, Jun Wong, but that's not going to happen,
brother. It's not. I seriously doubt it's anything bad like you're thinking it. Maybe. Mm-hmm. You've done something extraordinary, and it's something that, again, we have talked about.
Yes.
You are part of this network of people that are very genuine, that are caring, that look out for one another, and you're not involved in any of this backroom crap that I see, because I've seen it. I mean, I was recently, I left a DM group because they were seriously in there talking about canceling someone, and I was like, you know what? I just saw something. And it was, I was going through my Twitter feed in my DMs, and I saw they were talking about somebody, and I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell are they talking about? And every once in a while, you'll see something in your DMs. Mm-hmm. And what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And I looked, and I was just like, you know what? No. And I just left the group, because I'm like, I don't care who the hell you are. When you're talking about canceling someone, and you're talking about all this crap,
mm-hmm.
It's you don't want to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. I know you don't. If there's anyone that's anti-drama, the most anti-drama person I know, it's you.
It's just simple. I don't have time for that anymore. I don't have time for that anymore. I'm more focused on building not only my channel, building my brand and everything. So I don't have time for that stuff. And plus, does it help me in any way, shape, or form? No, it really doesn't.
So we're on YouTube talk. So I'm not gonna throw any names out.
No, but
I saw somebody the other day saying, well, screw all these other people that go live at this time. I'm creating a safe space. And I'm like, if you're really doing that, why are you preferencing it with talking shit about what anyone else is doing? And that's the
thing you have to understand from day one. No, please,
Floral,
please,
bring on the drama stream.
No, but that's the thing you have to understand.
That's Wilton. That's Wilton on Floral's account. That's not Floral.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't expect that. I don't expect that from Floral. Actually, well, get out of there. No. That's the thing is like the first thing you gotta understand is, we're all part of this. I don't consider myself part of this like this fellowship gathering anything, but we are this network of not only YouTube channels, but a network of just friends in real life as well. And that's the thing is like, listen, the first thing you're going to understand about YouTube is you are going to be if you want to see it as competition, you're going to be there's never going to be a specific time frame where you can go live or post a video and that's like your golden hour. It's like you have to find your golden hour. Okay, you said, and I said this at the start. I was like, listen, I love y'all, but I don't give a damn at what time y'all streaming. I'm streaming. Okay, and that's that mentality to have. It's just that just stream. Just go live. Pick the time that works best. And I saw this like Instagram. Pick the time that works best for you. Not for anybody else. Pick the time that works best for you.
And don't worry about running over anybody else.
About it.
If they are positive about what you're doing, they'll get it. I don't care if someone goes live at 8 a.m. when I do. I don't care. Mm-hmm. If Machini was like, Loki, I need to go live an hour early, I'd be like, dude, you're all good. Stop worrying about it. Just do it. None of that bothers me.
And the thing is, back when we started, and of course, I will happily admit, back when I started, I used to rely on, shout outs and from bigger channels to get me growing and such like that. And it's like, it's not anymore. It's like, you don't need that. You can build your own audience on you. You can build your own audience. You really don't need shout outs from big channels to be on. Just be like Nike. Just do it. Just go live. Just be consistent. Just do it. Your audience will find you sooner or later if you're actually going out there doing it yourself and not having to rely so heavily on, people heavily rely so heavily on others to, shout you out and boost you up. You got to put the content in. Your content at the end of the day, the content that you put out is going to matter the most. It's going to be the one that people are going to remember the most. You can have a channel where it's been, it's hitting these big numbers. So you got like big subscribers and all that stuff. And, you're getting it all from, monetization, you're getting it all from, people shouting you out all the time, showing up on other people's channels and such like that. And that's great. But if you have content yourself that you're putting out, those are the people. Let's put it this way. You can have a growing channel based on, other people shouting you out, other people, giving you a shout out, such like that. Those can bring new eyes to your channel. But if you got the content if you are putting the content out, those new eyes are going to be the eyes that are going to keep staying for it. They could bring you to your channel, but it's really what you got to put out that's going to keep them staying. And that's what you do. That's what Snowdub does. That's what, I feel like I feel like even he doesn't admit it. Mikey's a YouTuber and he puts out content.
Yes, he does.
Except, he's more behind the scenes. He helps behind the scenes. It may not be in front of me and I see it front, but he is behind the scenes. That's really, if you think about it, that's his content. Is helping other channels, helping to produce other channels, helping to make sure every other channels are up and running. That's technically his content. And that's how he was able to grow, by being that assist, being that someone who could really knows the back end stuff and knows how, to really help grow channels. And that's what he provides. You know, it makes him a legit YouTuber, whether he likes it or not.
Project Storytime was a big supporter of Doomcock, and he says DC brought me here to Loki, but Loki has kept me here. That's the thing. You know, you can get shout outs, you can get people pointing at your channel, you can get all these things, but it's your job to entertain them and to keep them here. How you do that is completely and totally up to you. I would never assume to be like, well, Makani, you need to do this to keep your people entertained. Nor would Makani tell me, look, you need to do this to keep your audience entertained. It's our job to do that and decide how we're going to do that. Makani draws. Ha! See what I did there? Makani draws. Anyway, Makani draws. And he does these beautiful, beautiful illustrations. And he talks to people and he keeps them there. He keeps his audience there. I can't do that for him. It's one of the things that I tried to explain to a few people back in the day that thought, oh, well, Valhalla is just some kind of club to get you more clicks and get you subscribers. No, Valhalla is a community that comes together and has fun and hangs out and watches a movie together or talks about a topic together. That's what Valhalla is. And yes, people stay, Wilton. People stay. And people stay for Makani. People stay for Snowdub. And people stay for you. And people stay for Arwen. That laugh coming out of Arwen is infectious. That is what Avalon 19 is that laugh. Why? Because she's like a ray of sunshine coming out of a rainbow unicorn's butt.
Just ejaculate sunshine and rainbows just everywhere she goes.
And if you show people that, and you let them see, okay, this is what this person is about. This is genuine. It's not a made up character. It's not a made up story. It's you. It's who you are. They will keep coming back and they will keep enjoying what they're enjoying about your channel, about your show, about your videos, about whatever. One of the hardest things I have got to get over, and I'm working on it, is when I sit down to do a video and upload, I end up spending all day on it because I'm like, I don't sound genuine. I can't read off this stupid piece of paper and act like I'm being genuine when it's just words I've already written down. Maybe I should, I'm working on getting over that. And I've thought about it and I've been like, well, I could just do what I do here. I'll just record it and I'll do what I do here. The problem is I go back and listen to it. I'm like, I don't like this, or I don't like the way I sound here. And with this, it's out there. It's there. There is no taking it back. There is no editing it. There is no, well, I didn't sound good here, so I'll go in the studio and blah, blah, blah. It's just there. That's the best way for me to do that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Put it this way. Okay. So with you, Loki, you know, how much, with what you were just saying about, you know, spending all that time when you're trying to put a video together and get the editing and stuff, that is with me when it comes to the streams I do, because it's like, you know, because I look at, and this is part where I admit I am definitely I admit I am very jealous and envious of a lot of other channels, because for me it takes the reason, you know, the real reason why Makani Live, my main show, takes so long between seasons is because I have to start coming up with a theme. I have to start coming up with all the components together, find the music, do all the editing, and do it in because that is the theme for this specific season. That is for example, season 9. You know, we went full 90s. We went done in the form of a 90s talk show. I had to spend weeks and weeks and weeks of just not only just researching how commercials, how intros, how everything was done, to be able to do that, TV VHS effect, to be able to draw all those components together. Those took time to make everything come together, and to be able to put a season of draw Sunday shows like that. we're on, we're cups of and the same thing has to go for the reboot. And because it's taken a while for me to get, to really get not only a theme going, but to get all the components together. Like I got like this big intro with all my characters' dialogue at the start of the show, and then it goes right into it. Because this is a start over for the channel. So I'm trying to come up with, a theme that is going to be very unified. This moving forward, a theme that feels very a theme and visual style that is very unified for the channel itself. And it's got to sync up with everything moving forward. And I was like, let's take everything that we kind of learned from last season and let's apply that to moving forward, because I love that. I loved the amount of work that I took. And that's why I was so, thank you, Daryl. And that's why I was so proud of it. That's why I was so proud of it. And, it's coming. It takes a while. It takes a while for me to get everything set up, just because I have a lot of different ideas. It's trying to put them together. It's trying to put them all together in a very coherent way that signifies this is the official style. This is the official visual aesthetic of my channel. Not just Machiny Live, my main show, but the channel itself. Because every channel has a visual look. Every channel has a visual style. In my times of being on YouTube, every single channel has a visual style. And we're trying to start over and make this a permanent thing for my channel moving forward. And that takes time. That really does take time. So that's why I'm envious, because you guys are able to get all that going much faster than I can.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I've spent a lot of time video editing. I've spent a lot of time video editing for like 20 years. I started out with Windows Movie Maker, y'all.
Yes, I did. Yep. It started out with me. Yep. Making music videos.
Yes.
Making music videos right at the beginning of right when I was a junior in high school when YouTube started. I was a junior in high school. So that was like 06, 07. So that is, back when it was a 5-star, back when you had the old 5-star system and everything. But
things change and we evolve with that change. If we don't, it's not that we get left behind, it's that you're stuck circling something. One of the things I always do, and this is my thing, I always look at updated terms of service. I always look at updated rules on YouTube. I just did that the other day, and they had an update on, well, if you get more than 30 copyright claims in 90 days, you can get taken down. Now you have to address that to not. So what does that mean, Loki? That means you have to go into your YouTube studio and you have to click on the claim, and then you have to fix the problem. Oh, if I use certain types of music or a video clip went too long, you've got to cut that out, or you've got to mute it and get rid of that and take care of that. If you let them build up, they will demonetize you and get rid of you. And some people are like, oh, I got demonetized for no reason. They said it was copyright problem or da-da-da-da. They didn't do it for any reason. Well, yeah, they did. It's been there. It's been backing up. It's something you didn't take care of.
Now, one thing I will appreciate YouTube is that they didn't retroactively do that before the changes. When the changes were implemented, they didn't retroactively do that to my channel, because I still have a lot of my old content was still claimed. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. I do appreciate them doing that. And I've been very quick on just, I'll just mute it out. No no worries. I'll just mute it out. And if anything, to play on the safe side, what I might do is I might just go back and just, clear whatever other claims that I have, and just clear those out as well. And I'm wondering, and it does make me wonder if it counts, does a claim count if it says it's eligible for revenue sharing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then I'll go ahead and mute that then. I'll go ahead and mute that then. So, but yeah, I do appreciate the fact that YouTube isn't doing it retroactively, considering my first year or so using copyrighted music for my intros for the shows and such like that. So I am going, and that's why I'm going back in and just clearing it out right now. So, but yeah.
No, they still can claim you on videos you have deleted, so don't delete anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, because they've still got a copy of everything. No matter what you delete, they've still got a copy of everything. Yep. So don't delete anything. If you gotta hide it. If you gotta take it down, you can take it down. Just don't delete it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can come back and get you for that.
Yep. And then that's why the best thing for me is that I always tend to just when I see it, I always get notified that I get claimed, and I just mute it. I was like, it was good for one thing, and that's why you have a Rumble, y'all. That's why I have a Rumble, my backup channels. I have a backup on Rumble, so that way it doesn't that way for people who want to hear what was actually claimed, you can go over to my Rumble. You could go over to the same. I live stream on Rumble, so you guys can always hear it, just in case. So, but yeah, it's an interesting time, and that, the funny thing is, Loki, is that freaking January is supposed to be like a slow month for creators. Yes.
Financially as well as growth wise, January is supposed to be a slow month. So usually the two, as far as revenue goes, the 2 months you normally are going to be the worst is December and January.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case. freaking just kind of broke that rhythm, basically. We just kind of. But I think it really does show that it was such a conscious, such a really concentrated effort on, not just Maria's part, but on everybody's part. It's funny because it's like, you hit in the same month, Maria hits 8K. I hit 2K on the night of your 4-year anniversary of Warriors of Mischief. Sometimes I think it's like, you know what? Sometimes I think it was like divine intervention. Sometimes that just like all of these things are happening for a reason. And I'm just grateful for it. That's what I learned from, Chris, and learned from other people who were saying in the first song, like Mephisto said earlier, just ride the wave. And that's what I do. I just ride the wave. And just ride the wave and just enjoy it while it lasts. I'm totally fine with that, because you're gonna have those highs, you're gonna have those lows, and that's just it. That's just how it is, And
learning to work with that, and to enjoy when times are good, and to strive when times are bad, to strive forward. That is what can make or break you right there. Because I've seen people that are like, oh my God, I've hit this and I've done this. And then when things slow down or something doesn't go their way, they're being attacked, or they're being punished, or they're being this, or they're being that. And, that's not the way it works. There are good times, and there are bad times, and there are fast times, and there are slow times. And you've got to learn to bob and weave and ebb and flow with how that's affecting your channel. we've always said, and this is something you have said just as much as I have, this is not a sprint. There is no sprint to the finish line. And if for whatever reason you're like, I spent 10 days and I got 50,000 subscribers, most of the time, 99% of the time, they will nosedive that son of a bitch into the ground because they don't know how to handle it and they don't know what they're doing.
For me, it's just, for me, it was just this mindset of just like, listen, no matter how big you are, just treat this like you're a small channel. Treat this like you're a small channel just trying to grow. Just focus on just making good content. Make it good. You make good content no matter if you're only like 10 subscribers or 10,000 subs. Because at the end of the day, those numbers don't matter. Those numbers aren't going to matter. It's going to be the content itself that's going to keep people coming back for more. And I'm blessed to know that, you know, the content is that it is the content, that it is the support, that it is all that keeping people come back for more.
Culture Casino. Good morning, my friend. He said, day of days from my brother Makani.
I know.
Thank you, brother.
It happened, man. It happened. Culture hit 1,500. Culture hit 1,500. He's on his road to 220K. It was a year of growth. It was a huge year of. It was definitely a huge month of growth for not just for myself, but for so many other people.
Do you feel okay? So, do you feel like, you deserve this, or is there a part of you going, you know what, so many other people do this or that or the other?
I am, to be honest, I'm actually in between. I
believe that.
The part where I say I don't deserve this has been because I don't think that, you know, compared to a lot of other, you know, content out there, that, you know, it's it is still part of me that believes that, you know, the stuff that I put out is, you know, it pales in comparison to, you know, other channels and such. And, you know, you have to, you know, you gotta work at it hard. You gotta have you gotta increase your production values. You gotta be able to articulate what you're saying. You gotta be able to do this, that, and the third that really makes people want to watch and want to subscribe. But at the same time is that part of me does deserve this, because people will always say, you're talented, you're talented, you're talented. And this is an analogy basically. And I tell them, doing what I'm doing, it's more than just talent. You have to be able to practice. You have to be able to learn. You have to be able to study. You have to be able to fail. And you have to be able to do it for thousands upon thousands of hours until you get good. And even tens of hours to get good. It takes a while. It's like, it is like drawing for me. You have to be able to learn. You have to be able to learn properly, learn how to do things, you know, the proper way, learn how to do it the right way. And if you want to be able to grow, you know, there's definitely the quick fire. There's definitely those quick fire. It's not, and I'm not saying this in the form of there's those quick fire. There's those quick ways to grow your channel. No, but there are tricks that you can learn to apply to the content that you're providing that will help you grow more.
Yes.
You know, it's not learning like, oh, this quick ways to earn $5. No, there's techniques that you can learn that will help you grow your channel quick. You know, it is about the technique, and it is about what you provide to the channel, what you bring to the channel, what your content is about. And And it's just like, it could be like, you can look at the analogies, like you can look at all of these, you can look at all the big channels, you can look at something like Culture, you can look at something like yourself, like Gary or somebody else. Is like, if you look at it as artists, they are, these guys are insanely talented. These are people to look up to, but what do we always say? Gary was a small ass channel.
Yes, he
a
was.
long time ago. He had to work his way to get through this. Loki had to work his way to get through this. Culture had to work his way to get through this. This isn't you're not an overnight, in reality, if you're someone like a large, like I guess you say, if you're someone like a Mr. Beast, or like even I would even put that analogy, even someone like Mr. Beast or even PewDiePie, they started out small as well. They had to work their way to get to the millions of followers and such like that. I could be someone like a Sniper Wolf and just be like a freaking golden cow and just be like this platform's cash cow or something. But, but even then, there's still that part of me is like, I still got to provide the content. If I am this golden child of this platform, I still have to provide that content. And, it's that, I think that's something that is, and I think that's something that might be just kind of that lacking, is just having that subconscious thought is that, listen, you still have to put the work in no matter what. No matter if you're a big channel, no matter if you're a small channel, you still have to put the work in if you want to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And especially in the specific time, you may not be able to achieve it in this specific date that you want to, but you're going to get there at some point. You have to have that, you have to have that part of that conscious in your mind that you still got to put the work in. You still got to put the work in. It's like, even when you're riding on high and you're hitting your growth and everything, you still have content you got to put the work in at the end of the day.
I had a conversation with somebody. This is years ago. It's actually shortly after I met Culture. It was when we were in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They said, and it wasn't Culture, somebody else. I'm not going to name them.
Right.
They said, one day, the algorithm's going to catch up with what I'm doing, and it's going to be my time. I said, what do you mean by that? What are you saying? Well, as long as I keep putting out content, and as long as I do this, eventually the algorithm's going to catch me, and I'll be right there with all these other, people that have thousands of subscribers. And I said, not if your content's not good. And they looked at me like I was tripping. And I said, dude, you've got to put the work into it. You can't just put out, shitty video after shitty video, or just do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expect something like the algorithm just to take you and deliver you where you need to go. You have to do the work.
You have to really make strong content that make people want to watch. I look at, I think if I could think about it, I think about channels like WDW Pro. I think of channels like that Park Place. They do. They got huge. They got absolutely huge, but they put the content in. They have the content that people want to watch, that people are going to tune in every single time they go live. I think about, other big channels like Jeremy Recording or Review Tech USA, or, maybe like Saggy, maybe like just so many other people we follow, we know and such. They got to put the content in. They have the content that people want to continue watching, not just for days, but for years upon years upon years on end. You hit that growth spurt and you hit that slow point where it's like, YouTube is not just in like, oh, you're not, getting content, but you're going to have those feelings where it's like, YouTube is actively suppressing, or Twitter or X is actively suppressing your account because, your content doesn't fall into, what is that, approved guidelines and such like that. You still have to put, it's still good content though.
And that does, yeah, no, exactly. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to get a huge big bump someday. It just means that you're walking against the waves. You're walking against the tide. You might feel like you're on a treadmill, but that treadmill is not going to sit there and spin forever.
No,
you will move forward. I mean, one of the things me and you talked about over and over and over again was, like you said earlier, okay, I don't think I'll ever do this, or I don't think I'll ever be there. And my answer has always been the same. Look, we're not in a sprint. It's an endurance race. Eventually, you're going to get noticed. Whether it's by someone that wants to give you a shout out to 1,000 people in the audience, or whether it's the algorithm or whatever it is, you're going to get the attention because you're doing something special. You're doing something significant, creating something wonderful. Eventually people will notice that. Might take you a while. You might bash your head against the keyboard. You might be like, dude, I don't know if I want to keep doing this because blah, 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 or yada, yada, yada. And there will be people that do not want you to continue. As great a community and fellowship or whatever it is, there's always going to be someone out there that wants to piss in your Cheerios. You can't focus on them. And you can't pay attention to them. You got to pay attention to what you are doing, not what anybody else is doing.
Yes, and just two things I do want to really note on that. First off, and I think it's more three things. The thing is that, yeah, my content is definitely not suitable for YouTube, but I still focus on putting out good content. The other factor that I think that has to be addressed when it comes out to just putting out really good content and really getting people to watch and watch your stuff is that it's got to be content that you love doing. You have to put a bit of yourself into it. You have to show that you absolutely love what you do. Otherwise it's not gonna worth it. Otherwise you're gonna make good content just to grow, just so you can grow but you got to make good content that if you want to grow, make good content that you want to grow, but also make sure that content you're making is something that you love personally, something that you love doing, something that makes you want to keep doing it again and again. And you have to have a personal love for this. I love what I draw on streams all the time. I love it. I have a personal love for it. I advocate for stuff like that. I advocate, if anything, I do have, my stuff is definitely not suitable for YouTube and stuff, but if you really think about that, if there's one thing I advocate is freedom of expression. It's just that freedom of expression. That's what I feel like in a core spiritual essence. That's what my channel is about. Freedom of expression. And that's when I think about that. And I think the other thing is, and I think the other thing is that, I'm in that camp, you're in that camp, everybody's in that camp where you're feeling like there are forces out there that are actively trying to suppress channels, not like specifically you, but channels like you. It's because it's not part of the the approved what they want to see. Take it as somebody who always feels shadow banned no matter where he goes. You have to persevere. Yeah. Even if you get it, and that was the thing you just said, Loki. It's like somebody's gonna find your content, somebody's gonna find your channel and give you a boost, even if you feel like you're being shadow banned. Yeah. You still feel like you have a civic duty to continue putting out the content that you want to see, the content that you want to make. Even if you feel like that, even if you feel like you're being actively suppressed, I would still continue to put it out because I still have a love for what I do, and I still have appreciative. And it comes back to the genuineness is that you have to appreciate what you have right now, what you have with you. If it's a small audience, just be grateful for make content for that then. You know what I mean? Make content for them then. If this is a small audience you have and you're having a hard time, trying to grow and such, at least make sure that be appreciative of the audience that you have, because that can all be this is why I'm always thankful. This is why I'm always saying I don't deserve you guys, because all of that can be taken away in a snap. All of that can be taken away. Because we have seen people. We have seen it. People who grow so huge, and then just their ego gets in the way. They let their ego get in the way. They just let all of these things it just overshadows them. It just overshadows all the good content that they've made, and they just become just this huge. This fireball trash fire. You know what I mean? One of the most recent examples, of course, is Boogie 2988. Someone who was in the freaking trenches putting out content left and right, having a great personality, but then just the moment he got bigger, just the ego got in the way, the ego got in the way, the fame and fortune, all that got in the way. And now it's a complete downfall. You see those. I oftentimes will listen to YouTube channels that do documentaries on content creators that hit this huge high, and then they just completely nosedive. And it's like either their ego gets in the way, they let their ego get in the way. They feel like they're too big for their pressures. They feel like they're too grateful for their content. Controversy after controversy behind the scenes with other channels, drama, of course. Those things will bring a huge channel down, all the way down, like a freaking shuttle crash or something, entering Earth's atmosphere, just like a fireball. And people will only remember them for all the controversies, all of the drama and such, and not for the actual good content that they made.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. There's a saying, everything I learned from Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
From Worf's brother, Karn. He says, "Tonight we celebrate, but tomorrow we all may die."
Mm-hmm. For me, it's just
if you don't have that joy and that love for what you're doing, maybe look into doing something else. I love doing this show every morning. You guys get me up. I've said that over and over. You get me out of bed, and I come over here and I look forward to doing this. And there's this spark, even when I feel bad, like this morning. Even when I feel bad, I felt like shit yesterday morning. I still got up here for 2 hours and celebrated. And I was very happy, even though I felt like crap. I was very happy. You guys pull me up here every morning. And I enjoy doing what I do. I love what I get to do. I love the fact that I get to come on here for an hour, maybe a little more, and talk to y'all and have a discussion and enjoy what we're doing. If that's missing, if you feel like you're just beating your head against your keyboard, or you're not going anywhere, or it's not fulfilling enough, maybe this isn't for you, or maybe you need to switch what you're doing, or maybe you need to look into what you're doing here. Because if all you've got is the bitching, the moaning, and the whining, or it's my turn, or blah, 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 you fill in the blanks yourself, something is wrong, because that's not why you need to be here. You need to be here because you love this and because you want to do this. I think Walter, we've gotten so far away from that we're only looking at, I want to be a YouTube star, or I want to have this lifestyle, and not what it means to you If all you want to do is be the next Boogie 2988, well, I hate to tell you, but those days are long past.
You're gonna fall.
Yeah,
Walter makes a great term, and thanks for bringing that up, Walter. But and then I agree, and that I should have really brought that up. Thank you for pointing that out. Is that making good content is one thing, but it is a broad term. Here's the thing: you find your niche. Find your niche. Think about the content that you like watching. What it could be of anything. Think about the content that you like to do, you like to watch and see all the time. Sometimes a lot of people grow off of just making content based off of what is their personal hobby, what their favorite thing to do is. For me, it's art and such like that. So tailor your content to, if anything, tailor your you don't need to be a broad term trying to talk about everything. You can grow and you can really hit your strides being a content creator focused on one genre or one niche.
Yeah, I don't do it the way I do it, because God help me. I couldn't talk about the same thing every day. And there are people that do, that have thousands and thousands and thousands of more followers than I do, but that would drive me nuts.
That's a good. You know what? You brought up a good point. You brought up a very good point. Think of how we. Okay. Think about how all of this started. Think about how all of us started. Really, what were the biggest names that we all looked up to? Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, yes, World Class Bullshitters, the big names, you name it. And we all wanted, and all of us wanted to do the same thing that they did. Start channels where we're talking about, what's going on in Star Wars and, Doctor Who and Disney, Marvel, DC, you name it. Be in those channels that talk about what's going on in pop. You think about it, we all wanted to become pop culture channels. If you think about that, talking about, what's going on with pop culture, what's going on with our favorite, modern myths, what's going on with our favorite, what's going on with Star Trek, what's going on with Star Wars and such like that. We if there's one good thing that I will commend that round-headed idiot for, is that movie brought a lot of us together. That movie brought a lot of us together, and what we saw with what was going on in Disney, that's what definitely inspired a lot of people's channels to start talking about, to start wanting to bring content to that. But the thing is that there is that point in you, if you continue that, if you make content based off of that, at some point you're going to burn out just talking about, oh, this is bad, that's bad, this is bad, that's bad. For me, that wasn't my, thankfully for me, that wasn't my mission statement moving forward. My thing was, I would like to talk, I wanted to start as a channel where I wanted to basically talk about what's going on in pop culture from an artist perspective, from an art perspective, from that viewpoint, from an artist viewpoint, pinpointing those things that other people may not see, those underlying things that maybe other people may not be able to see in, like, what's going on with Disney and such like that. But I realized, and I realized this last year, was that, a lot, me and definitely have plenty of other people have started talking about that, where we were, we were kind of talking about generally what's going on in pop culture. But one thing that I've noticed was that we started to naturally change tides. We started to naturally change into what our channels was really meant to be about. One good example is Culture. Culture, he did kind of, he was doing kind of the same thing from a lot of us, but then I noticed that he really, really started to talk about what's going on in culture and everything from a business perspective. That's how you got channels like Valiant Renegade. That's how you got, WDW Pro in that Park Place, talking about it from a business financial point of view. That is Mike's wheelhouse. That is where he shines the most. That's his, aside from jumping out of windows and such.
Yes. No, I
aside from
agree.
making Mary Milf shine. Aside from that, but that's where he found that's where he specializes in. A lot of times, think about someone like Star Wars Theory. He focuses purely on Star Wars, purely on the content from a Star Wars fan. So his channel will deviate into that. Think about Derelict. He focuses on general from Star Wars, and it really went into. If I could ever think about this, I think about Daryl and I think about the VacTube's content, and I think about that really it's content coming from a very working class perspective, from a very down home Southern working class viewpoint, and it more tailored to that. I think about my content is that I don't talk about, I'll bring it up on streams. I'll bring up topics and stuff like that. But for me, it is art. That's what I've wanted to be since day one. I wanted to be an art channel first and foremost. And I am happy to know that I am becoming that. That's my niche. That's what I want to focus on. That's what I want to be. I don't want to be like, all this big shit. It's great talking about that content. It really is. But that's not who I want to be. And I know that's not what you want to be, Loki. That's not what culture anybody else wants to be. That's not what Punkwaddle wants to be. Making great content is important. But to make great content, find your niche. Find what do you want to make content about? What do you want to make content about? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to showcase about? What do you want to do? I follow a lot of hobbyist channels. I follow a lot of Hot Wheels channels. One of the bigger ones is Jerkata Diecast Project is a Hot Wheels channel, and this is a team. I think they're from Indonesia, but they're one of the biggest channels on the platform, and they make these custom Hot Wheels that are freaking just stunning. That's their niche. Find your niche. Regardless, even if it's a small niche, you can still grow. You can still entice other people to get into it. If you think of it in that sense, you can get other people into what you're into. If you stick to that instead of being too, you can be more of a general channel and talk about generally everything. But if you focus on one thing, you can potentially get other new viewers to start getting involved into what you do and to what you're into. One of the biggest, I will always say this, no matter if it's 2,000 or 20,000 or 200,000 or 2 million subs, all those likes, all those shout outs, all those in the world, they pale in comparison to knowing that I go to bed every night having people tell me the greatest compliment that people always tell me is that they started drawing because of watching my content. After watching my content, they wanted to start drawing, or they wanted to get back into doing art again. That means a lot. Hearing that means so much more to me than everything else. To hear that people have gotten back into art or feel confident in doing art again from just watching my content or just being around me. That's why Mads always calls me the art pimp. In reality, that's what it is that you do, it's that talent of being able to inspire and being able to motivate other people to start drawing or to get back into art in general. I've heard people say that they got a tablet and such like that from watching the morning streams, just watching the morning shows that I do. And watch from me trying to figure this out myself. you know, it, find that, and if anything, find that niche that you're into, that the content that you like seeing, focus on that. Focus on that. In the third part, and I know we're going to be over that over time, but the third part that I want to bring up is one of the things that, and it does kind of circle back to the whole drama and such like that. There was one specific moment that happened to Loki that has pissed me off twice.
Oh no!
Yes, it has, and it. It was every time that you would stumble upon. Every time Loki, there was two instances where Loki stumbled, where people stumbled upon, where Loki has stumbled upon a big channel, and they were talking smack about him live. Those
can't
kind
worry
of things
about
piss
that.
me off. No, I understand. Those kind of things worry that, and those kind of things piss me off because there was that one instance where somebody told you, Loki, that you're a dead channel.
Yeah.
That you're never going to grow. That shit pisses me off because you don't decide that. The only person who decides how my channel grows is me. You decide that. Nobody else is. That's why I will, for the longest time, said I will make sure I am not a dead channel in any way or slightest. You just remember this. You're in control of the content you make. That channel you have, take care, Dave Bob. That channel you have, you are in control. Don't ever forget that. You're in control. You make it happen. And yeah, they do talk about it means they love you, but that clearly wasn't the case. It's the case. But but if it is that case where it's like, with that drama, you find out you stumble upon a channel or somebody that, they're making fun of you or talk smack about you, either behind the scenes or just, live. Don't, just tell yourself, listen, you are in control. This is your channel. You have influence on what happens on your channel. They're not in control of it. You are. You decide. You make the decisions. You make the decisions. It doesn't matter how big of a small audience you have. At the end of the day, if this is still your channel, Loki, you still make the decisions on what you do for your channel.
That's right. That's right. And to
update
what Makini,
to
update what Makini just said, it wasn't 3 or 4, maybe 5 months after that this person that said this was talking about how discouraged they felt and how they felt like they were doing nothing but treading water. A lot of times people are going to put their own feelings and their own bullshit upon you, thinking that, this will in some way make them feel better about being them. That's just not the way it is.
No, man. No, man. You can't. It's not going to make you feel bad. And that's why I said at the start, it's one of the reasons why I stay away from, why I try to stay out of drama shit, just because does that help my is that going to help help me grow my channel? No. I'm not interested. Is that something I'm interested? Is that something that I'm interested in? No. Is it going to help me grow? No. It's doing nothing for me. It's doing absolutely nothing for me. And I'm more focused on my own content, focused on wanting to grow what I have and what I am in control of. I don't have control of anybody else's channel. I may be I'm probably an inspiration from some accounts out there, but I'm not in control of what they do on a day-to-day basis. They're in control. Everybody's in control of the content they make on this platform, and I am as well. So you don't just brush that off. Don't let that influence you on the decisions you make. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's just envy. A lot of times, it's just okay. Let me slow down on that. I have had friends always tell me that, I don't take compliments that easy. I'm not good at taking compliments, but I respond. And you'll see this on Twitter all the time. Whenever it's critiques, I respond. I take feedback to heart. And, over my time on, and I know you probably have developed this look, and I can guarantee you a lot of people in this chat have developed this over time, that you can be able to separate what's good, honest, legitimate critiques about your channel and what's just shit talking. And I know you have that skill, Loki. I know you've developed it. I know a lot of people have developed it. You can be able to separate what is legit feedback from what is just basically talking shit. You can tell that the people who do send you legit feedback, those are the people who want to see you grow. They want to help you grow. They want to help. They want you to succeed. The people who are just shit talking about you and such like that, they don't care. They're envious or jealous or something. They just don't want. They want to see your channel burn in flames or go down in flames.
Yeah,
you got to be able to disseminate. You got to be able to separate that. That's why I respond a lot. That's why I do respond whenever it's critique. Whenever I get critique and such like that, I respond immediately. Those critiques I appreciate more than the compliments, because they help me. Okay, maybe those critiques may not help me grow as a channel, but they help me make my content better. They help me do what I do better. They help me make my art better. They help me learn. I learn from those. I learn from my feedback. You learn from your feedback. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from all of those. And those help you grow. You can't. I think about one of my favorite animes where, in order for a character to become stronger, they have to fail. You have to lose. And that's the only way you could be able to learn. You can't, and in some ways you can't learn from just constantly growing and winning all the time. You got to learn from your losses. You got to learn from your defeats. You have to learn from your mistakes. And there's not a single channel on this platform that hasn't learned from their mistakes or that has made mistakes before. It depends on how you take those mistakes. Did you learn from those mistakes? Do you learn from those critiques? No channel is perfect. Okay? No channel is perfect. You could break down, like, you could look at like Eric July and all that stuff. Is like, for as big as a channel is, you always have those all bunch of channels that are just like critiquing and breaking down all of the content, all the stuff they say, and all those kind of things. Rock has those. I'm sure you don't have those kind of channels. I'm sure I have those channels. You have those channels that, will break down and try to, pinpoint every single little flaw and just entice people to, like, don't sub to this channel because this guy is trash and all that stuff and stuff like that. It's like, listen, you take the feedback to heart. That's what I do. I appreciate more feedback than I do. I do appreciate the feedback than I do the compliments. And no channel is perfect. And understand that and if you feel like you're making those mistakes, learn from them. Learn from those mistakes. Learn from those, and also learn to be able. And if there's one piece of advice, is learn to, when it comes to getting feedback on the content you're making from this channel, always learn the skill to be able to disseminate. Okay, if this person is making those critiques and feedback, do they actually want my channel to succeed, or they just want to see my channel go down? be able to see my channel crash and burn. Learn from that. Learn to be able to disseminate actual feedback, actual critique from blatant trash talking.
Yes.
You have to be able to learn to disseminate, separate those two. In some ways, you look at it in some ways, also look at it like, you're putting a product out. Look at who is critiquing. Be able to separate who is, people who are legitimate fans of your content from people who just don't like your content, like what you do, like who you are, and just want to see you go down. Yeah. Be able to separate that, be able to find that, and that's the one that always been the big problem when it comes to, pop culture and social media, like Star Wars, for example. You notice that you see, let's take Doctor Who, for example. You notice that they always go after, you always see these this content stuff. You always see these people, they always go after the most vile comments, but they never address legitimate comments. They never address the legitimate criticisms that people have. They only go after the most extreme and more vile attacks or criticisms and try to paint the entire fan base like that.
Yes.
Think of it in that sense. Address and you see that, I see that with Twitter all the time. People who make these hot take posts and they'll only respond to the more vile comments, but they never address or never even respond or mute people who have legitimate criticisms, the legit comments that people talk about. You got to be able to learn to separate that. You got to be able to learn to address that. You can't live in this. We talk about echo chambers. We talk about echo chambers for years and such like that. One of the last things you want to do on this channel is be an echo chamber. Believe me, we've seen channels. We have seen people become, these blatant echo chambers and stuff. Sorry. You can't be these, we talk about echo chambers all the time. You don't want to be that. Don't be that. Okay. Don't be the very thing you're trying to go after. Okay. You gotta have that subconscious. You have that subconsciousness in yourself. You gotta have that. You have to think, sometimes you have to take there are moments where you have to take a step back and think, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What is this helping me? What is going on right now? Look at the situation. Just like, what are you doing? Take a step back. Just kind of take a moment, slow down, take a moment, think about what's going on here. Think about the situation. Think about what you're doing. It's like, are you realizing that you're becoming the very thing you're railing against? Are you realize you're becoming the very thing you're becoming this echo chamber? You're becoming this and that and the third. It's like, no. Then it's just like, the thing is that you got to understand that you have to, at some point, it's like, even if you're like on high, it's like Loki knows, it's like, you got to slow down at some point. You have to take a moment and just be like, okay, pause. What's going on? Think about this. How do we mitigate this? Like, how do you go around this? How do you get past this? Are you becoming the very thing that you're against? Because you'll fall, because you can fall into that trap real easily. You can fall into that, And that's another thing. Be open to different opinions. Be open to different mindsets. Be appreciative of that. Honestly, be appreciative of the different opinions, different mindsets, being appreciative of just different viewpoints. Be accepting of that. You can take, you don't have to follow that. Even if you are changing, I come at this not wanting to try to change people's minds all the time. I come at this, let's put it this way, come at this not trying to change minds, but just a lot of times just offer your viewpoint, offer your opinion on something, And that's it. You know, just and that's totally fine. Just don't feel like, don't feel like you see a different viewpoint or different opinion on something that you have to change, or you have to, this is going to try to change or anything. It's like, no, just see it from there. Agree to disagree. Ultimately, just agree to disagree. We're not going to agree on the same thing. We're not going to be on the same page on everything. I know damn well me and Loki are not going to be on the same page on everything.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
But
that's very true.
But the fact of the matter is, you become an echo chamber if everybody is just agreeing on exactly the same thing. You can't. That's not how. You don't actually grow that way. You grow from learning from different viewpoints. You learn from different, and you can either apply that to yourself, or and it allows you to be open to, what other people say, what other people, and many people is different. People is going to think that, like, for example, like with like Suicide Squad, I come in, my opinions is, those are my own. I am not going to deter. I always go back to what Culture says. Don't ever let me yuck in your yum. Don't ever let anybody else. Don't let anybody else ruin anything that if it's something that you like, that we absolutely despise, and we're just setting it ablaze. Don't let that. The last thing we want to do is, we don't want to ruin your experience. If it's something you legitimately love that we absolutely hate, don't listen to us then. No, I mean that. I genuinely mean that. Don't let us dictate. Don't let us influence that. If it's something you're passionate about, we really genuinely want this chat to be happy. I want my chat to be happy, loving whatever they love, and we can ultimately it'll just be agree to disagree, and we're all, and that's the thing that a lot of people will say about the big channels like the Nerdrotics or the Azes or the Geeks and Gamers. Is like everybody in that group thinks the same way. It's like, no, that's not the case. You can be, I can guarantee you, if I ever had a conversation with like Az or with Jeremy or something like that, we are not going to agree on a lot of things. But I love their content. I love the perspective they're looking at it. I still enjoy their content. I still enjoy the stuff they do, even though I don't agree with them. I still enjoy it. I still love it. I still love the character, the people they are, the content they are. Even if it was a case where it's like me and Loki don't see eye to eye on every single little thing, I'm still gonna love his content. We're still boys in the end. I'm still going to enjoy tune in no matter what, because hearing that perspective can be is a great thing too. Be open to that. Be open to seeing different viewpoints. We're not going to agree on, with one thing sucking and stuff. Like people, like another good example is I've walked away from Star Wars entirely after The Last Jedi, but there are people who loved Ahsoka, people who loved Obi-Wan Kenobi, people who love, all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian and what they're doing. There are people who still support that. More power to you. Just not for me.
That's right.
However, I remember one thing Tommy the Geek Collective said. I remember this one little thing. Don't be, if there's a property that you despise, stick to your guns. Put it this way, stick to your guns. I don't know how else to put it. Stick to your guns. If it's something that, unless you have a good reason to change your tune about something, unless you have a reason to change your tune, stick to your guns. Don't be like, I hate this and this, but I'm going to keep watching. I was like, listen, if you made your line in the sand, if you've already made your mind up, then what's the point in continually railing on it? And we're all, and I'm going to tell you this right now, we are all guilty of it. Don't act like you're not guilty. Do not act like you're guilty of it. We all are. Guaranteed. We all are. Because I walked away from Disney Star Wars and walked away from Star Wars in general. And yet whenever I see ish going on with regards to like Ahsoka and stuff, sometimes I'll still talk about it. Sometimes people will still bring up and I'll look at it. I'm just shaking my head, shaking my head down, but you gotta have guts, principles, and, stick to your guns and stuff. And, that's one other thing. We'll try to wrap this up because we're already at the hour and a half mark.
We are at the hour and a half mark. We do need to wrap it up.
I'll put it this way. People think that, you're going to grow your channel if you toe the line. If you toe the line, you're going to grow your channel, you're going to grow your base, if you toe the line. I'm going to tell you this right now. A lot of people, they're able to grow their base if they stick to their guns. If they don't kowtow. A lot of times, if you don't bend the knee, and stick to, your own principles and guns and such like that, you're actually going to grow that way. Because they're going to see somebody who's resilient, someone who's somebody who may like double or trickle down, but somebody who doesn't toe the line. People who don't toe the line can oftentimes grow in that regard. You don't have to just be like, because we see it all the time. It's like people will say something and then they get so much blowback from, it could be from one side or the other side, and then they kowtow and apologize, or they have to bend the knee. And it's like, and we talk about it all the time. It's like, listen, and I'm just like, you know what? You have, if you're really true to what you're saying, and if you really believe in what you're saying, you would stick to it. You would be like, screw everybody else trying to dogpile on you. Stay true to your beliefs. Believe me, a lot of people are going to find that. A lot of people are going to see that resilience, see that as resilience and willing to follow, willing to support, willing to do that. It works both ways. It's like a lot of times just bending the knee and kowtowing to, other people's demands, or just, cave into the censorship, which is, those are topics that I personally like to talk about. That's always been my personal fight in this, whatever you want to call it, stupid ass culture wars that is just, censorship and freedom of expression, and, having such a genuine appreciation for the female form and such like that. Those are stuff that I fight for. And that's why I've begun to appreciate fan service and such like that more and more often, just because I'm seeing that being teared down. That's why when I was like, follow her channel, it was like when I was like realizing what we saw in the video game industry and such like that, I was like, really, there is this huge attack on the male gaze. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's gaze harder. We're not male gazing hard enough. We're not having to make people understand that, like, the stuff that, we're into is something that can apply, that it can be appealing to everyone, not just one side of the group, but something that can be appealing to all sides of the group. So, yeah.
Carol says hate gets clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty breeds true followers.
Mm-hmm.
I was honest before we get out of here really quick.
Yeah.
Because I know we've gone almost.
There's not going to be a show today. It won't be a show today.
Oh, you're not going to? No, don't do that. Go on and do your show. Go on and do your show and have fun. Please don't do that, because you came on here. I feel like I'm taking away from you.
Tomorrow, but I'm like,
okay, dude. Yeah.
All right, I'll go for an hour.
really, really fast. I took a lot of shit for my opinion of the season 3 of Picard. Mm-hmm. I liked the camaraderie. I liked some of the writing. There were things I absolutely hated about it, but just because I liked some of it, I took a lot of shit for that. I'm not gonna, like what Makani says, I'm not gonna kowtow to the other side either and just yell and scream and point and pure hate something when I don't, because there's no point in that. I think some of it was good. I think overall it was a badly written show, but I love the camaraderie between the cast. I love that. It felt natural, and it felt like they were back together again.
Right.
And I think that's a large part of what was wrong with Picard was that you missed that. That wasn't there.
Right. And that's and that was and I'll bring this up, and that was the one thing that got I remember one big channel was saying we had this, was already, had this hatred of Picard, but what really upset me was that I am seeing so many people, and you doing those streams, I'm seeing all these people who are talking about how great Picard is, but there was that one channel that said it was like, okay, it was fine that it's like, okay, we get it, you just strongly dislike Picard, but you can't just lump everybody who supports Picard is like, oh, they support Kurtzman and everything else they do. No. F Kurtzman and everything that's going down with this conflict. But this is that golden nugget. This is like that one time it's like, okay, we like this. Just because we like this doesn't mean we like that we're just going to be like in everything else. It's like, no, you can't lump us in. You can't lump anyone in like that. Just because they support one thing doesn't mean they're going to support everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. That's painting with such a broad brush, and I was upset by that because you, Arwen, Dave Bob, so many people. Dave Bob was mixed on Picard. Dave Bob was probably very antagonist on Picard too. But watching your shows, watching everybody's streams talk about Picard season 3 and how they legitimately love that, and that was what upset me. It's like you can't paint that. Yes, what they did, like you can't paint someone as they may have loved like something like Ahsoka, or they may have hated The Last Jedi and may have loved something like Ahsoka or Obi-Wan or The Mandalorian. It's like, I'm not going to paint them with no, don't paint them with a broad brush at all. I mean, you can love one bit of thing and still hate the entire property. You can still dislike for what the property has become, but you can still find that golden nugget. And that's something I can appreciate in people, is people who are willing to stick it out and they can see that there's some good in this. There's some good in what's going on. Like I bet you my bomb dollar that for everything that we're hearing bad about the new Doctor Who, there's definitely people in our circles, people in this community who do find things that they actually did like about what is going on with Ncuti Gatwa's era Doctor Who. I bet you there are people who are going to find some enjoyment, and I bet you people even in my camp, even in my audience, are going to find enjoyment about Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I am not going to paint y'all with a broad brush at all. I shouldn't. I'm not going to.
No, because that's what was happening to us.
Exactly.
What happened to all of us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And what a great way to stop the show. Thank you so much. Big thank you to Makani, who has kicked ass and taken names. And brother, congratulations again. 2K, brother. I never thought the day would come. 2K, congratulations, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna. Yeah, I guarantee you before next week, you're gonna have more subscribers.
It's gonna be like 2,100. I'm gonna be like, okay, just let it. No. I was like, no, I'm not gonna stop. I am not gonna let this stop. I'm just gonna let it stop. Let it run. Although I did tell my friend Anime that if something happened where I ended up getting 10,000 subscribers, hitting that Coach Casino numbers,
you're going to quit. You better not quit. You better not. I heard that.
I wouldn't know what to do, man. I'd just be like,
yeah, you do. You know what you do? You do know, because that happened to somebody I know. It happened to someone I know, and they literally had me on right before their first live stream after they hit 10K, and they were like, "What do we do, Loki? What do we do? What am I going to do?" Da, 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 da. And I said, "What got you here?" And they said, "Huh?" And I said, "Be yourself. That's what got you here. You got here by saying this and by doing this and by being this. You keep on doing that. You don't change." And they were like, "Yeah, that's that. Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." And all right, I'm ready. All right, let's fucking go. So yeah,
I'm probably gonna pass out if I ever hit those numbers. I'm gonna make sure everybody's there with me to just be like, breathe, Makini, breathe. Okay.
Don't change. Don't change. You keep doing exactly what you've been doing.
I just end up fainting. I just faint live. I'm just like, ugh.
Okay, we're gonna send everybody over to Makini's.
All right.
I'm sure he's gonna need a minute to get ready.
Yeah.
Go get a drink, get set up.
Yeah, give me like
make
5
sure you
minutes
go
or
over
so.
to Makini's. Congratulations again, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you all so much.
We should be back later tonight. I'm not 100% sure, but if not, earlier tonight, I will be on with Pacific 414 for a collector's thing. So you're gonna get to see I have a whole bunch of card packs that I got that I'm waiting to open. That me and Eris should be opening a boatload of them next weekend, and we're gonna be doing giveaways. So make sure you said that we're gonna be doing a bunch of giveaways on some doubles that we get, guys. We have like almost $1,000 in Final Fantasy card packs. So if you like Final Fantasy trading cards, if you like the game, tune in, check it out, because we're going to be doing a huge build up until Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out. But until then, guys, take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak Brenda Enter. Make sure you get your butts over to Makini's for his live stream coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. I was waiting on Makini to say something, but I guess we're good.
Sorry. I'll see you all over the show. I'm sorry, I didn't speak that. I didn't know that was my cue. Okay. I'll see you guys over on the channel. It'll be a short. It'll be a short show. We'll just keep it short because I do got to get ready for work and such like that. So we'll probably just celebrate for an hour or so. Just talk to you guys. I'll get some more work done. Thank y'all. I'll see you guys over on the channel. Thank y'all
later,
so much.
everybody.
And never stop drawing. That's
oh
all
yeah.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.